I have seen very smart people fail in Luxembourg funds, and not because they were not capable, but because they didn't understand how the industry actually works. And today I'm going to tell you what no one tells you. Hi, I'm Dr. Tese and have spent years working in Luxembourg funds, including as a conducting officer overseeing accounting and valuation. So what I'm sharing with you today comes from real experience, not theory. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Most people think Luxembourg funds is just accounting, but it's not. It's a mix of accounting, operations, valuation, and regulation, and a lot of judgment. You're not dealing with simple companies. You are dealing with complex structures, private equity, real estate, RIFs, SICAVs. And that changes everything. The second reason people struggle is NAV. If you do not understand NAV deeply, you will struggle. I'm not talking just about the formula, but I'm talking about understanding what actually drives the numbers. Accruals, valuation, loan agreements, reconciliation. So for example, loan agreements, you need to understand what sort of loan are you dealing with. Is it an interest-free loan? Is it an interest-bearing loan? Is it a profit participating loan? What sort of loan? If it is an interest-bearing loan, you need to understand. You need to know where the maturity date is set, because this is going to help you calculate your interest. You need to also know what is the interest rate, whether the interest rate is at arm's length rate, whether there has been a transfer pricing study done for that loan. So you need to understand all of this because each loan will have a different treatment. The next one is reconciliation. You need to know not only bank reconciliation or cash reconciliation, but also reconcile all your loan principal and interest. All your accruals should be aligned to what you have in different documentation and also aligned with what your clients have. If you're not aware already, I have done a full video on NAV and I highly recommend that you watch this after this video. Now, the third point and one of the biggest mistake that I have seen is that people do not read documents. Either they do not know how to read the documents and decode what is in the document, or they just do not care, because many times I have seen people, if in their job description it says accounting, they will only stick to accounting. They will not care about any legal matters or any administrative matters. And this is where it goes wrong, because in funds, everything is driven by agreements. Yes, of course, as an accountant, we need to book transactions, but to be able to book the transactions, we need to understand the transaction. And to get a thorough understanding of the transactions, we need to read the documents. So for example, for an SCSP type of fund, which is also known as a partnership, we will have a limited partnership agreement, also known as an LPA. So we need to understand what is in the LPA, how management fees is calculated, how arrangement fees are calculated, what are the expenses that the fund will incur and we need to consider in our NAV pack. All these are in the LPA or the prospectus or the PPM, however you want to call it. We do have different loan agreements, as I already mentioned, which you should know how to decode. We will have a valuation policy, which will tell you for this asset, we use the DCF method, or we use the cost approach, we impair these assets. So all these will be in the valuation policies. There are, for instance, some assets are in the development phase or not in the development phase, or already developed asset, ready to be sold asset. So all these assets have a different type of valuation which we'll need to apply. So without having a read at the valuation policy, you wouldn't be able to do your transactions. Forget about the NAV, you will not even know what valuation method you should apply. So if you don't know, how are you going to even apply it to your NAV pack? To me, if you're not reading and understanding the documents, it means you're just working blindly because you need to meet the deadlines. And trust me, this will not take you far. Most people stay focused on tasks, posting entries, preparing reports, ticking boxes. I'm not saying this is not important. Of course, it is very important, but it is not what makes you grow. As a conducting officer, I was not checking numbers, I was challenging them. For each number you deal with, you need to have a supporting document. Even if you have a supporting document, does not mean you are doing the right thing. So always keep challenging them. Also, as you would know, the fund industry is very demanding. Deadlines are very tight. At times, you do not have staff members to do, like to spread the work across. And you got to do everything by yourself, but just take your time and do them, because everything that you're doing now, it's going to pay off in the future. Expectations are very high, I know, and mistakes are not easily tolerated. But if you understand how it works, you can grow very fast. All right. And you should change your mindset. Although you are an accountant or even qualified accountant, you cannot say, oh, legal matters is not of my interest, or administrative tasks are boring. This is not something that I will want to do, or it's not as per my job description. I mean, who cares? Nothing in the future or even now, nothing will be based on your job description. So you can take your job description and scrap it, because nothing works like this, right? Maybe 50%, 60% will be as per your job description, but there will always be that little percentage where you will have to go extra. And if you don't want to go extra, then you should be okay with not being promoted, not getting a pay rise, and just work, and meet deadlines basically. And you don't want to succeed in the fun industry, then yeah, just do whatever you want to do. Just skip legal matters and administrative tasks as well. Just focus on one thing and remain in one thing for years and years. But if you want to succeed in the Luxembourg funds, you need to start by mastering not only the NAV, but also understand documentations and, having a helping hand with the different teams that you have in your company. Again, I have already explained it step by step, how to calculate NAV and so on. So please go and watch that one next. And remember, stop thinking like an accountant and start thinking like someone responsible for the entire fund. Just sticking to one aspect does not take you far. So you need to be responsible for the entire fund if you want to thrive in the fund industry. If you find this video helpful, please let me know. And until next time, take care. Thank you.